Fire Thief by Laura Hirschberg. Scene 1. Early evening. The Hall of the Gods. A paradise of invention, a kind of divine workshop, lavish and chaotic. At the center of the room is a bowl of eternal flame, the hearth of the gods. Olympus is alive with noise and bustle as the gods prepare for a massive feast in the nearby banquet hall. Eliora, alone with the fire, sorts through the sea of creations Prometheus and Epimetheus have left behind. Half-finished sheet music, almost creatures, nearly machines. Prometheus, thinking himself unnoticed, watches Eliora at work.
Hand it over. It's been 23 days. If Cronus's timekeeping is to be trusted, you've left me twiddling my thumbs with no one to talk to, alone all this time.
I'm sure that's not true.
23 days, 11 hours, and 15...
No, I mean, you're never alone here. There's always someone to... Epimetheus is a great... I'm sorry if you were bored. I left you plenty to read.
Eliora balls up one of the papers she's collected, walks over to Prometheus and bounces it off his head. She picks up a pile of papers and dumps it over his head.
Oh. Mature.
She scoops up a frog in process, winds up in preparation to throw, and...
Okay!
You know, he's been thinking of calling this one Little Prometheus.
I'm honored.
So hand it over.
You know, when I go away like this, it's because I'm working, not...
Wasting time? Hiding?
You're always more than welcome to come with.
Stupid.
Hey.
Bored.
Forget it.
I have got a job to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing down there that I need to see up close.
I disagree.
Oh, that's fine. So, what'd you bring me? Look, I don't care if you've been tinkering away with your little pet human project this whole time. Do what makes you happy. You don't owe me an offering just because we work together. I inspire you. You couldn't do this without me. Happy to serve.
Prometheus pulls a ukulele out of one of his coat pockets and presents it.
For you.
I think your lyre is missing a few strings.
It's not a... It's supposed to have 4.
Is that, guitar you were working on? Because I expected something bigger.
No, I still haven't finished. This one's great. Look.
He takes the ukulele back from Eliora, strums a few chords, then plays and sings.
I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood.
Huh.
See?
Is there more?
No, it's supposed to be small.
No, not the goofy lyre, the song. Is there more?
Not yet.
Where'd that come from?
It came to me while I was working.
On the...
On mankind.
You came up while you were adding whiskers?
I'm not adding whiskers.
Good. They'd look ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know who should have them, though?
Yeah.
Seals.
Yeah. You should tell Epimetheus.
Sure, if I see him. He's been making himself relatively scarce lately.
Oh.
He hates for me to see him mope.
What's he got to mope about?
Well, I mean, you ran off for 3 weeks without inviting him to come play.
Maybe I should have brought 2 of these. He couldn't help me with this.
He's blanketed the world with beasts, Prometheus. You don't think that he could help
He
you?
lacks vision. That's not what... I mean, he doesn't see humanity for what they are, what they could be.
And what is that?
Everything we aren't.
Simple, fragile, limited.
Driven, primed for inspiration, alive!
What did you do?
I'll never finish that song, Eliora. Or these sonnets and stories. I have limitless time and I'm drowning in it, and I'm dragging these wonderful things, our work, down with me. But people, they have. If I could just give them a fraction of.
You should really talk to your brother.
I don't know.
You never get this morose when it's the two of you. You fight, you compromise, you create. You don't spend 23 days fretting about your wasted potential. You get things done. We get things done.
Not like this.
Then let us help you.
Yeah?
Of course. If you need a little extra inspiration, you could hardly find a better source.
Eliora, thank you, because I swear, I've looked at this from every angle. Really, I have. And I'm sure it's what's missing. I mean, obviously, I can't do this without you.
Well, obviously.
Oh, and we can start tonight.
Sure.
This will change everything.
I hope so.
Music from the banquet hall indicates that the party has begun.
I should really make an appearance at the feast before. And then I'll gather a few things and I'll see you after.
Yes.
Ah!
Prometheus kisses Eliora on the cheek, gallantly bows, presents her with the ukulele again. She laughs and takes it with a curtsy. Eliora sits down at the hearth, attempts to pluck out a melody on the ukulele.
I think your lyre is missing a few strings.
Come out of hiding, have you?
Pro's back?
You just missed him.
I'll catch him later.
You look dreadful. When was the last time that you slept?
I've been busy.
Oh, really? Both of you so busy. Would you believe that Pro's been working on humans this whole time? Well, give or take the afternoon it took to cobble this thing together.
He does tend to fixate.
True. Remember that enormous canyon?
I told him to let the river do the work, but he insisted on carving and whittling and sanding down the edges. He was at it for that eons.
You pulled him out of it eventually.
I let it run its course. Wasn't hurting anyone. Seemed to make him happy. It's gorgeous work, really. I added the eagles.
And that's what you're doing now?
Hmm?
Letting it run its course? This humanity thing? Or is that what you've been losing sleep over?
Is it that obvious?
I love you both, but neither of you is as mysterious or complex as you imagine. But don't worry. You have other virtues.
Care to list a few?
Another time, perhaps.
You've talked to him?
I think he's almost past it.
Yeah?
It's sweet how you worry. He just needs one more dollop of inspiration, a few words of encouragement from us, and he'll be...
You're going to give him more. He's taking another piece of the flame. What happened to cutting him off?
When have I ever cut either of you off? I let you go on countless crazy runs of it. I mean, there was that month where everybody had stripes. That camel nonsense.
This is different.
Giraffes, Epimetheus. Giraffes.
I don't think he wants just a dollop of inspiration, Eliora.
What do you mean?
I think he'd take the whole bowlful if you let him.
And I think you're jealous because he's got a shiny new toy. So let's just get the two of you in a room. He can ask you for advice, you can add the finishing touches together, and then go on to the next.
It's not going to happen.
Why not?
Because he doesn't want the fire for himself. He wants it for them. He wants to give it to them, to people, for them to use.
You should really get some sleep. It's the fire of the gods. The consequences for misuse are catastrophic.
He doesn't see it as misuse.
He told you this?
I know him.
Look,
He's my brother.
And humanity is just another fixation that's almost run its course. You two have fallen out of sync. You've gotten yourself all worked up, and he loves to feel misunderstood, and you're both being ridiculous.
Dearest.
I'd offer to bet on it, but you're such a bad sport when you lose.
I'm not.
Still, It's an easy enough to put to the test. Winner gets bragging rights, anyway.
What test?
Simple. We leave the fire unguarded and see what he does.
You leave the fire unguarded?
Well, no, not really. I'll step away for an hour or two, and you're in such a skulking mood lately anyway, you can hide in a dark corner. See what happens.
You don't want to see?
I don't need to. And, well, you'd be perfectly lovely to share a dark corner with. I'd rather eat some hors d'oeuvres and leave you boys to your own devices. Who knows? You might even talk about what's actually bothering the two of you.
There's nothing else.
Okay, you know what? Keep an eye on the fire, and I'll save you a crab puff.
Epimetheus watches the fire, then retreats to a dark corner of the hall. Scene 2. Night. The only light comes from the not-too-distant moon, a dash of stars, and the eternal fire of inspiration. Prometheus returns, carrying a satchel. From the walls, clouds, air, he collects his favorite scraps and sketches, stuffing them into his many pockets. He takes a look around, picks up a butterfly and plays with it for a moment before letting it lie. He crosses to the fire. He takes a small box out of his bag. There is a sound of shuffling paper. Prometheus stops, puts the box away, looks around.
Eliora!
Epimetheus, holding a piece of fire in his hand, making it vanish and reappear.
You've been practicing.
What can I say? You inspire me.
That's what I do.
It's a real crowd pleaser. Now you see it. Now you don't.
Hey, you all right? You look...
I worry.
That's new.
It's not.
Shouldn't you be at the feast?
Promised Eliora I'd watch the fire for her.
She went to the...
I know. And you had such big plans.
She told you. I wish she'd... I wanted to show you after, so you could see them in action, and then you'd understand what...
Oh, I understand perfectly. So, what are you waiting for?
Eliora said she'd...
You know we have a little bet, she and I? Probably breaks the rules to tell you about it, but it's a friendly wager, no harm, no foul.
A bet.
And about who knows you better.
Well, that's really...
A bet I'd love to lose. I'd love to be wrong about how stupid and selfish and self-destructive you are.
Epimetheus.
But don't worry. She never has to know. I can take the hit. I'm the one who's always a step behind, right? My mistake. Perfect Prometheus never wanted to steal the fire of the gods. It was all a big misunderstanding. What a fool I was. You were right, Eliora. He'd never do something so short-sighted and absurd. Just wanted a little extra inspiration, nothing more. Sound good?
I've thought this through.
Yes. Forethought, your specialty. You've packed a bag and everything.
He grabs the satchel, weighs it in his hand.
Good. Good. This should last you until you get caught.
They won't catch me.
Bro, I've caught you and you haven't even done the stupid thing yet.
You aren't them.
No.
Prometheus approaches the fire. Epimetheus steps between his brother and the flames.
Stop, Pro.
You and I are the master inventors on this rock. I have every right to that flame, Epimetheus.
A right to use it, not to throw it away.
Throw it away! I'm trying to do something good, finishing, creating perfection. And Eliora understands. She stepped away to toss a diversion or try some mini hamburgers or...
Crab puffs.
Fine, so...
So
step aside.
Look, Pro. I get it. You get a little hung up on a project, spend a bit too much time alone. Your mind starts to... It happens. Tunnel vision. I'm saying you don't have to worry about it. You can just pretend this never happened. Everything can go back to the way it was.
And why would I want that?
Prometheus steps towards the fire. Epimetheus grabs Prometheus' satchel and throws it across the room. Prometheus, fuming, goes to pick up his scattered things.
Pro, you steal this fire, you destroy humanity, and you destroy yourself. I won't allow it.
You underestimate them.
They won't thank you for it.
What?
Look at them. Mankind. They're happy. Leave them alone.
They're not happy!
No, you're not happy! Inspiration hurts. Deal with it!
Prometheus pushes Epimetheus out of his way, rushes to the bowl of fire, grips the rim, but cannot take the flame. Epimetheus pursues. They circle the fire bowl.
This is all for them, right? They complained, completing to you. Oh, Prometheus! Fill our heads with meaningless, flowery drivel so we can spend all our mortal days feeling as miserable as you.
Stop it!
Leave us perpetually unsatisfied, competing.
You don't know what you're talking about!
Oh, Titan, lay your burdens down on us, inspire us, then abandon us. Face it, bro. This isn't about them. This is about you not being good enough, not knowing how to be happy with.
Prometheus dives for his brother, knocking the fire bowl to the ground. Pedestal, bowl, embers, and flames spill across the clouds, shattering and beginning to set the heavens ablaze. Flames spread. Tapestries char. Gold and silver melt into pools and run downhill.
You underestimate me. I won't abandon them. I wouldn't do that. You should get out of here, Epimetheus.
Plenty of flames to choose from, huh? You could even.
He picks up a piece of fire.
The riches your heart desires, right at your fingertips. You're a Titan, a world builder, and you and me, together, we're looking at an infinity of possibility, but I can see the romance in it. Fire thief. So if that's all you want to be.
Epimetheus holds out the flame. Prometheus takes the flame and leaves Olympus.
Huh. Now you see it. Now you.
Scene 3. In the darkness, tiny fire bursts gradually blink into existence, the flame of inspiration spreading, sparks of light throughout the space. We are now in foreign territory, still a workshop, Prometheus's workshop, but somewhere in the in-between. Not quite Earth, but certainly not heaven. A modified fire bowl burns in the corner. It's been months, years since Prometheus left Olympus. Enter Aton, an assistant firebringer first class, experimenting on a bicycle. She swerves, tumbles, collides, and finally succeeds, takes a victory lap, dismounts, and ever so carefully props the bicycle against the promontory.
You are a death trap. Nope, definitely not unleashing you on humanity. Too dangerous.
She rushes for the bike, gives it another go, perhaps attempting some tricks. Prometheus enters, carrying a clipboard. Aton loops around, notices Prometheus, figures out brakes, and stops short.
Welcome back to the in-between spaces, sir.
Aton, I told you before, we've been at this for quite a while. You're an assistant firebringer first class. You really don't need to call me sir. Please, just don't. Just relax, all right?
Right. I don't know why I keep, I should call you, Prometheus. Or no, Mr. Prometheus. Okay, obviously not. Pro? That's sort of nice. I could,
Prometheus is fine.
Right. Good trip down? Any trouble with the,
They never seem to look for me in New Jersey. I was just finishing up some work with Edison.
But me and one of the other guys, we've been bringing the spark to Tesla, and I thought you wanted us to keep...
I like to have contingency plans. As long as the invention comes to be, it doesn't really matter who...
It matters to Tesla.
What?
Nothing really. I was just saying it matters to Tesla. And it matters to Edison that it matters to Tesla. You know how humans are.
So, Aton, you've been working on the bicycle?
The bicycle, yes.
And that's really the name you want to go with?
What? Yes? I thought it made sense. 2 wheels and everything. Unless you
Aton, lighten up. Bicycle's fine. I was only
jerking my chain.
or something to that effect. Yes.
Yours is a subtle brand of humor, sir.
It's an acquired taste. And I thought we agreed.
No, sir. Right. No, sir. No, pro. Anyway, we're gonna have to broaden your comedic horizons a bit, Prometheus, or mankind is doomed to a handful of dreary millennia.
Hey, Aristophanes is one of my guys, and he's...
Yeah, let me tell you, that stuff loses something in translation. You gotta think long term. I'm working on some absurdists. Right now in 20th century England. They do these really silly walks and
Yes.
all of these.
And I've been looking at your work with Fanny Price and Richard Pryor, and wow, this is a lot of Canadians, Aton. You don't want to get overly specialized.
With comedy or Canadians?
you,
You've been looking at my work?
I keep an eye on the whole operation.
Continues to zoom around on the bike. Prometheus, amused, grabs the bike by the handlebars.
You know, it's just a matter of time before that thing turns on you and sends you flying into oblivion. Stay there.
Prometheus returns with a Greek war helmet. He puts it on Aton's head.
I'm riding a bicycle, not facing the Minotaur.
You know, I bet you two really hit it off. Want me to introduce you? Or is he a distant cousin?
My current line of work doesn't really have a lot of time for romantic getaways.
No, it does not.
Still can't complain, except...
Yeah.
I'd really like to pop back and spend a bit more time with Basquiat. And there's some properly weird stuff going on with writing systems in Mesopotamia and all of this.
You were there.
Yeah, but it was only a short visit, and I thought if I went back...
We don't go back.
I'm saying, is there any wiggle room in that policy? Or is it just you who gets to...
I don't make return visits.
No, but you linger. Which is fine, obviously. It's your rodeo or whatever. And when you linger, we get Kurosawa and Paul McCartney and Swiss chocolate.
Good results.
Yeah, which is why I thought maybe we could all do some more
lingering
or follow-ups. Seems kind of cruel, dropping a bit of inspiration on somebody and then leaving them on their own to deal with it.
The rest of their life? That's how it goes. You give them the fire, you plant the seed, you point them in the right direction, and you move on.
Okay,
there's no time. We don't know how long. So just move on. It's all we can do.
Yes, sir.
Prometheus, actually letting himself feel exhausted for a moment, sits on the floor. Aton puts the bicycle aside and sits.
So, this has got to be a record, huh? Your longest stretch in the safe zone? One time I got spooked, I stayed here for 3 months. So it's kind of wild that you never really actually end up. You know, last we heard, you were painting cave walls with Neanderthals? Or was it painting prostitutes with Toulouse-Lautrec? I think you might be due for a break. A little quality time in the old workshop? Free from prying eyes and spears and lightning bolts.
Just drop by to pick up some supplies and check on a few things.
You don't think you're spreading yourself a bit thin? I mean, time and space traveler, fugitive, inventor, aspiring comedian.
What are you, my mother?
There is, after all, a not-so-friendly standing invitation beckoning you back home.
I'm fine, but I appreciate your concern. And maybe I have been getting a little sloppy, spreading myself a bit thin. It's what comes of working solo. Still haven't gotten the hang of. So what do you say?
What?
I've always worked better with a partner. Obviously, it's a bit riskier if I were bringing with me. So if you'd rather pass, I'd understand.
This is... sorry. It's all sort of sudden?
No. Forethought. It's kind of my thing.
Prometheus
Think about it.
Pulls out a pocket watch.
Get back to me. I really need to get going. There's a Sackertort waiting for me at Mozart.
I figured he was one of yours. But did you know that Sackertort was one of mine?
She zooms past him on the bike. He follows. Scene 4, the Hall of the Gods. Neater now, without Prometheus as half of the mess. A rebuilt pedestal and bowl of eternal flames has been restored to their proper place, where the fire is tended vigilantly by Eliora. She's reading. At the foot of her chase are numerous animals, created in her honor, as well as a pile of books. Epimetheus enters. As he passes behind Eliora, he reaches to caress her hair, but just barely brushes it before sitting at her feet.
What if you slept? And what if, in your sleep, you dreamed? And what if, in your dream, you went to heaven, and there you plucked a strange and beautiful flower? And what if, when you awoke, you had the flower in your hand? Ah, what then? It's one of yours.
Coleridge? He's Prometheus. The romantics are his mostly. There's a shocker, right? Coleridge is mostly pro. A little opium, well, a lot of opium, but mostly pro.
I mean the book. I've been collecting.
Yes.
I wish you'd stop with that nonsense.
Literature not to your taste? Or just the romantics? Too bad. Some of it is really glorious. Especially, well, every once in a while I come across something that makes me think. Where I'm sure pro's still working with you in mind.
Appealing to my vanity. I'm touched. Really.
You don't have to.
What?
There are other ways of seeing things, Eliora. I mean, what if it's a peace offering? This poetry of his. A gift of friendship to you.
You know, you don't know. You can't just assume that it's for me.
Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention? A muse of fire? Sound like anyone we know?
What do you want from me, Epimetheus?
Nothing. Nothing.
So, what was it this time?
Hmm?
Argus told me you were in North Africa.
Well, you know, I do a lot of work around the Nile, especially near... I'm sorry, Argus told you? In what way is where I go any of Argus's concern?
He watches. It's what he does.
Yeah, he's supposed to be watching for Prometheus.
100 eyes, darling. You don't think he can spare a few for you?
To spy on me?
Not like you gave him much choice.
Excuse me?
I know that you think this naive, bewildered persona of yours is mesmerizing and disarming, but the act's gotten a little stale, dear. They've given you a reasonable grace period. You're his brother. You needed a moment. You've had years. Centuries.
Yet my eternal summer shall not fade.
They know that you are looking for him.
I should hope so. I mean, the search party is a bit dim and more than a little inbred, but they're not blind.
What are you doing, Epimetheus? Is this... Are you trying to be clever?
Doesn't hurt to try.
If you help him stay hidden, you're as guilty as he is.
Help him? Are you... How could you possibly... He almost burnt this place to ashes. He stole from us. Upending everything.
You have to tell me.
He left! He left! So I'm looking for him.
On your own.
He owes me. There are things I deserve. Before the beasts and bullies and powers on high get their claws in, I am owed.
Wow.
Wow, what?
That was almost convincing. The vigilante racing the authorities to settle a score while he still has a chance. I think I saw that in a few of these. Definitely not Prometheus' style, but he has his little lackeys now. I'm sure that at least one of them is into that sort of thing.
You don't believe me?
He's your brother. Why would I?
Now what about you?
Me.
You're connected to the fire. You feel it. You'd be quite the asset to the search party. I'm out there looking, following trails of poetry and astrophysics. What are you doing?
I have to stay here.
There are plenty of other fire tenders who could.
The last time that I let someone else watch this flame, my whole world literally caught on fire. You want to question my motives for sitting here?
Eleora.
You let him go.
What?
I left you here. I left the fire in your keeping, and
You left me here on a dare, a bet.
you let him walk out the door.
That's not.
And you know where he is.
I don't.
And if you did, would you tell him? The searchers? Right. Because you want all that sweet vengeance for yourself?
I didn't say that.
No, you said you were owed. What else could you want?
An explanation. That's what that they've got their unbreakable chains and an eternal torment, and that's what they think he deserves. And maybe they're right. But I need to hear it from him. I need to understand. He has to make me understand.
Because this is about you.
No, I know. What he did was an offense against all of us.
No, it was me. He stole from me. It's not the most complicated job, fire tending, but it is what I do. It is who I am, and now it's less. I am diminished. Do you understand? It's not just embarrassing. It's not something you simply apologize for and everyone forgets. Claws and chains and torments. Sure, that's a start, but I don't need an explanation. I need the fire he set loose on that ball of dirt down there to burn everything he touches to a cinder. Watch out, dearest. You're starting to develop one of those dreadful furrow things right in the middle of your lovely forehead.
I don't believe you.
Oh no? Look in the mirror, why don't you?
You don't mean all those things you said. I don't. We're both just tired.
Yeah.
You set Hera's faithful watchdog to spy on me.
I did.
I've been sneaking around
A liar?
like a fool. I don't know where he is.
Okay.
And you?
I don't know where he is either.
And you don't want to burn the world to a...
Right, of course not. I just want what we both want.
Answers.
Justice.
Right.
So, hand it over.
What?
Things have changed, but not everything, I hope. You've been away, North Africa, elsewhere. It's been weeks, so hand it over.
My offering? Maybe this isn't the time for...
Honestly, Epimetheus, I was upset. I got a little carried away.
She puts her hand on his cheek.
It was just talk.
Epimetheus moves to touch her hand, but she lets it fall from his face.
So, impress me.
Well, there's a new desert toad. I think you'll like it. It burrows to keep cool.
A desert toad? No. Okay. You've been gone a long time. At the very least, you owe me something impractical, ridiculous. Give me something funny, Epimetheus.
She takes his hand and guides it to the fire. Epimetheus takes a pinch of flame, rolls it in his hands, plays with it for a moment. The light fills him. He concentrates, creates, and there is a new something roaming the earth. Epimetheus steps back to admire his work. Eleora stands up to get a better look at the earth below.
Well, that's... Wow.
You like it?
What sort of...
You asked for funny.
Is it a bird?
Nope. It's a duck-billed, egg-laying mammal. What do you think?
I think that, you better not name that thing after me.
Deal. I'll put her in an out-of-the-way corner. Don't want to weird out the rest of the animal kingdom. You know,
What?
Nothing. It's just I'd almost forgotten. You just have so many out of the way corners. They kind of slip my mind. I should really give them another look, check on things. Like Australia. That's where this little weirdo's going. All sorts of things with pouches and antlers.
Epimetheus.
I should go.
What? Now?
Yeah, you know how it is with inspiration? Gotta follow where it leads.
Yeah. I know how it is.
Scene 5. Lightning and thunder. Prometheus enters, running, making a mad dash from Earth to the in-between. The storm follows him. As he runs, Prometheus drops a small telescope. In his haste to escape his pursuers, he doesn't notice. After hitting a few dead ends, Prometheus finds a place and time to hide, perhaps in 16th century Japan or 1960s Detroit, and for a few moments there is silence and peace. He's lost them. Prometheus catches his breath. He checks himself for injuries and discovers none. He checks his satchel and his pockets and discovers the telescope is missing. He dares to peek out from his hiding place and catch sight of the telescope. He starts to go for it, but hesitates, briefly debating whether it's worth the risk. He peeks out once more and decides to chance it. He darts towards the telescope, but as he does, there's a series of enormous cracks of thunder and flashes of lightning. Prometheus dives to avoid the attack, but it grazes him, injuring his leg. For a moment, he's stunned by the pain, but he pulls himself to the telescope, grabs it, and stows it safely away. He gets to his feet, runs/limps towards an exit, but finds only walls and enemies. The thunder continues to rumble, closing in. Prometheus pulls a bit of the flame of inspiration out of thin air. He cups the fire between his hands, blows on it as if encouraging an ember to ignite. He blows once, twice, and on the third breath, his hands fly apart. The tiny flame is gone, but its light explodes to fill the space with impossibly brilliant, joyful brightness. A moment later, the light is gone. Everything plunges into pitch black. Gradually, the natural light of the cosmos returns, but Prometheus has vanished. The thunder booms and lightning flashes once more, and then the hunters are also gone. It begins to rain. Bright day, the same day, as Prometheus's near miss. Rain continues. Aton enters, looking up at the sky, perplexed. This kind of rain is highly unusual in Australia, where she happens to be. She spends a few moments enjoying the rain, then starts to peruse her pockets in search of some kind of head covering. Eliora enters, wearing a cloak. Aton notices, but does not recognize Eliora. Aton doffs her hat, then...
Wait, please!
Me?
I've been looking for you for ages.
You must have me confused for somebody else. Who exactly do you think I am?
I don't know.
All right then.
But I know you're who I'm looking for.
How's that?
Because of what's in your pocket.
Aton reaches into her pocket and pulls out a video game controller. Eliora shakes her head. Aton reaches into another pocket and pulls out ballet slippers.
On your left. It's all right. I know it's there. I can feel it.
Aton puts her hand in her left pocket, where she's keeping a jar full of the fire of the gods.
Okay. Who in the Hades are you?
Australia.
And I'm supposed to know who's...
Oh, no, I wouldn't expect a firebringer to know me.
I don't know what you're
That's
planning
what they call you up on Olympus. Firebringers. Is that not... Do you call yourself something different down here? Something snappier?
Snappier.
Like the incendiaries or something.
That's not bad, but I don't have anything to do with all of that. I'm just
an everyday immortal taking a casual stroll in where are we?
Australia.
Right. It's a bit out of the way.
I like the quiet.
Really?
No. What about you?
Uh,
This isn't exactly an easy commute from Olympus.
Oh, I didn't come from there. I'm just a star maiden. We don't get to. We don't get a lot of invitations to mingle with the highest of the high.
My family didn't usually make the guest list either, a bit too monstrous for a good company.
Ugh, I bet the company isn't that good.
Yeah, but the dessert table must be incredible. Star Maiden, huh?
That's how I found you. I tend celestial fire. It's what I've always done. It's who I am. I tend the fire until it's ready to go out into the universe and shine without me. But I still feel it. And this, what you're carrying, it's definitely different, but I've kind of got a knack for it. I could feel it from miles away.
Party trick.
I was hoping it could be a bit more than that.
What did you have in mind?
I could help you.
This is cute.
What?
I've never been in a sting before. Love the movie. Have you seen it? Robert Redford, delicious.
What are you?
You're very nice. And I know that neither of us ever got invited to play with the cool kids, but why don't we just skip to the part where you and whatever horde of enforcers you got hid and try to capture me realize you've got no proof that I've done anything in violation of immortal law and say our goodbyes.
There's nobody with me.
Oh, a free agent. Very ambitious.
That's not what I...
You just happen to have a fire-sensing superpower and an irresistible urge to be a fugitive?
Yes.
Okay, goodbye, Estrella.
The bionic ear is incredible. And the pacemaker, that's the new one, right? I mean, I don't know if you had any part in the didgeridoo, but I love it. It's, I don't know, it's funny. I never spent a lot of time with Prometheus, but from what I hear, he's not really a comedy guy, more epic poetry and Baroque requiems. Is it you? The weird and wonderful stuff? The X-ray and ice cream and fireworks?
Right. The X-ray was an accident.
I'm not here to... This isn't a trap or a Robert Redford movie. I've been wandering this continent for 12 days looking for... I just want to help.
Why?
The fire of the gods is a gift. In the right hands, it can work wonders. Words well chosen, a door previously unseen kicked open, the perfect solo line on a B-flat clarinet. That is what the fire is for, not aimless immortals who never manage to finish what they start. I know what the fire can do, and if Prometheus is really going to see this through, I want to be there, right to the finish.
Huh.
What?
You kind of sounded like him for a minute there. Prometheus.
Really? That's high praise.
You know, he's come a long way.
Hmm?
With the comedy stuff. Have you ever heard of a bagpipe?
Yeah.
All him. Look, I can't make any promises, but I'll talk to him.
Right now?
Soon.
Eliora runs to Aton and hugs her in thanks.
Sorry. I mean, thank you.
Sure. No promises, though.
Right. So when do we go?
What?
To talk to Prometheus.
Oh, no. He's kind of wary of new people for obvious reasons. I can't just bring you along to... He wouldn't take it well, and we aren't technically recruiting at the moment. He's been he's had other things on his mind lately.
Really? Like what?
Like the end of the road.
What?
Don't worry about it.
What did he say something that...
It's not what he says, it's the way he is. Sort of the weight of the air between words, if that makes any sense.
I mean, I don't really know him, so.
Right. Forget it. I'm probably way off base.
No, it sounds like you two must be really close
We work well together, and he needs someone,
to keep things in perspective.
and watch his back.
He's lucky to have you.
Hey, really, there's nothing to worry about. Give me a little time. I'll snap him out of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's meet up in about a month Earth time. Should have an answer by then.
How will I find you?
You've got a knack for this. Remember?
Eliora smiles, nods. Aton exits. Eliora's smile fades. She waits for a few beats. Undetected, she follows Aton. Scene 6, Prometheus's workshop. Papers. The stolen flame burns in a little bowl, but bits of it everywhere. Prometheus staggers, finally safe, able to rest for a moment and tend to his injuries. He walks toward a pile which he hopes includes some medical inventions. But then his injury betrays him. Prometheus stumbles, falling to the ground. He crawls/pulls himself to the rest of the way to the pile of inventions. He digs through, tossing aside useless paintings, slinkies, rolls of parchment. Finally, he finds something, a roll of gauze or embroidered Chinese silk, and uses it to bind his wound. He waits for the pain to subside. Something scribbled in a notebook catches his eye.
If an integer n is greater than 2, then a to the n plus b to the n equals c to the n has no solutions and non-zero. All mimsai where the borogove is, and the mome wraths out grayby. Mimsai. Mimsy.
Prometheus tears the page out of the book, crumples it into a ball, and drops it on the floor. He turns a few more pages, tears out a few more. He stops, reads another page, tears it out, folds it, and puts it in an inner pocket. He tosses the book aside. He crosses to one of the walls that's plastered with notes and blueprints and sketches and ideas. He begins pulling things off the wall, at first methodically, then almost violently, until he's on his knees ripping things to shreds. He looks at his hands, smudged with ink and paint. He rubs at the smudges and tries to calm himself. He leans his head back against the wall and closes his eyes, opens them.
We see the greatest thinkers of. I see the greatest minds wrecked, destroyed.
Digs in his pockets until he finds a piece of chalk. On the newly blank wall, he writes,
I saw the best minds destroyed by madness. I saw the best minds destroyed by madness, hysterical, desperate. The best minds of my generation, starving, madness, yes? I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical, madness, starving, hysterical.
His hands are shaking. He waits for them to stop. Crosses to a phonograph, plays the record already in place. Schubert's Symphony No. 8 in B minor, unfinished. He closes his eyes and listens to the music. A slight tinge of pain in his chest. It passes.
Schubert,
Symphony in B minor.
unfinished. Are you all right?
No.
Is there anything I can Hey, well, okay, what happened?
Don't worry about it.
Your leg?
It's fine.
You should sit.
I just got up. Seriously, Aton, I can barely feel it.
The storm. That was for you? Huh, okay. They found you.
I do have a tendency to linger.
Prometheus!
Have you ever looked at stars with them?
With?
No.
Prometheus pulls the telescope out of his bag.
It's like seeing them for the first time.
You were with Galileo or Chandrasekhar or...
No! Sakura. Sakura Sato. She's 15, brilliant. Builds these from scratch. She's gonna crack the whole dark matter thing wide open. The way she sees the cosmos is just
How long were you there?
not long enough.
Boss, this has been happening a lot lately.
I know.
The close calls, I mean.
Yeah.
You gotta slow down or let somebody else.
No.
I mean, look at your leg.
Enough! My leg is fine.
You're
I'm
not.
fine.
You just said that you were
I
not.
misspoke. Where have you been today? You were on your way to see Lovelace, weren't you? Or was that...
Last week, today was Lidwell.
Ah! The pacemaker. Nice. You know, a lot of people blow off 1926 as a kind of dud, but I think it's got a lot of...
I met someone out there. A potential recruit.
In Australia.
Why not?
Hey, I'm glad you're making new friends in strange places, but we're not recruiting.
That's what I said.
Okay, so
But maybe we should.
how many times are we going to talk?
Do you want to get caught? This one really shouldn't be a stumper.
It doesn't bother you?
What?
The music.
I really would like an answer to my question.
Prometheus crosses to the record player, watches the record spin.
No, it doesn't bother me. I'm a sucker for B minor.
The unfinished symphony.
Not much we can do about that. We don't go back. Remember? No time.
It was supposed to be a gift. Time. For them, paired with the fire. They're supposed to want to, need to get things done. What else is their immortality good for?
Good for. It's what they are, Prometheus. And I love them this way. Of course they want to get things done, create things, build telescopes from scratch, but sometimes they're busy living their lives, doing something stupid. They're terribly distractible creatures. I always thought that was a nice touch.
Thanks.
But mortality isn't just a motivator. It's
Paralytic.
what? No, that's not what
We're
I
supposed to
was
push them forward, but I think
going for.
it's crushing them. Schubert and Byron and Gaudi, Cobain and your friend Basquiat.
I mean, people die, Prometheus.
Right. And some people just stop. They get a hold of the fire, it fills them up, and it's still not enough. They run out the clock, and all that inspiration, everything that they could have done just turns to smoke. How can they do that? How can they let that happen?
You made them this way.
But they were supposed to be different, better. I never meant for them to turn out like...
Like you? Hey, give them a little credit. As a whole, they're much funnier than you are. But no, I guess you're right. They lose focus and make bad choices and believe in impossible things. They're romantic, idealistic. They fail over and over again. They're relentless and insatiable, and no matter how much time they have, it never feels like enough. And they know all that. And they still try. It's stupid, and it's completely dazzling. Yeah, you're right. They are very you.
You know, I used to envy them. That built-in deadline. It was like this brass ring, just out of reach. The answer to everything. Everything I couldn't do or be. That's where they came in. To finish the job, be better. And now,
Now,
and now I have it. The brass ring. I'm gonna get caught. Some days I forget that. And some days I can't wait for it to happen. But I always know. And it pushes me. It makes me strive. It makes me take stupid risks and leaps of faith. And sometimes I freeze up because of the dread of it, the weight. But mostly, it inspires me. It makes me great. And so, yeah, I know they're like me in a lot of ways, but I was still hoping before I went that they could be better.
do you want to get caught?
I want to go home.
Prometheus goes back to cleaning up some of his mess. Aton looks at the poem half written on the wall. She begins to gather scraps and sketches from the floor, helping the cleaning effort. She considers the fragments in her hands.
Give them time.
What?
Give us time.
Isn't that what we've all I gave them time and it wasn't enough.
No. See, that's what you don't get. Fire spreads, and mortality. It doesn't just motivate or paralyze. It forces them to connect. It's what they have in common.
Aton takes some sort of music-playing device out of her pocket.
So, you went to see Sister Rosetta, and she turned the spark into this.
Aton uses the device to play a snippet of Sister Rosetta Tharpe playing her Gibson guitar, maybe a few bars of Didn't It Rain?
And it was exactly what they needed. They didn't know it yet. Still, the fire sticks around, and it spreads, and it waits until someone picks it up, moves it forward.
She uses the device again. This time we hear Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo Child.
And it burns bright, and it burns hot, and he doesn't get to do half the things he could have done, but then
She plays one more track, Prince, Purple Rain, the guitar solo.
they're alive, and one day they won't be. There's no way to achieve everything they might have the potential to achieve, so they reach out, find what they need in each other, pass it on. We say we don't need new fire bringers, but we're getting them all the time. You're just missing it.
She hands him the music player.
It's okay to be tired, homesick, but I won't let you be hopeless.
Let me. I do what I want.
Okay, and look where that's got you.
Hope.
Prometheus pulls a folded piece of paper out of his inside pocket, the page he tore out of his notebook. He opens it and looks at its contents again briefly.
The means to mighty ends.
What's that?
It's what's missing.
What are you doing here?
I wasn't interested in waiting. It tends to lead to disappointment.
You followed me.
Well, you and,
He gestures to the fire bowl.
Boss, I can explain.
Prometheus walks towards Eliora. Prometheus stops in front of Eliora. He gently reaches out and touches her face. Having convinced himself that this is not a dream, Prometheus wraps Eliora in a hug. She returns the embrace.
Okay, what's going on here?
Are you all right?
what?
You left the fire.
Yes,
For me.
for me.
Eliora,
Eliora,
it's all right.
it's really not.
Aton, she's my best friend.
That was a long time ago.
Not for me.
You stole from her.
That's not.
It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Is it?
Ease up.
No, she has a right to defend.
You lied to me. You used me to get to him.
Yes.
So this is your new recruit?
Why are you still doing? What are you still doing here?
She's not going to hurt me. Why would she?
Because that's what people do when they're betrayed. Seek vengeance.
Betrayed. I would never betray you.
I know, but to the outside observer, you can see where your little friend
Aton.
Aton may get the wrong idea. You've heard my story, or our story, but you don't really know us. You've made certain assumptions about me, my feelings towards Prometheus and what he did. Of course, you'd want to protect him, but I needed to see him, so I did what I had to do. I lied.
So, I've got you all wrong?
Yes and no.
What do you want?
Just what I told you.
You said you wanted to join the cause.
And you believed me.
Yes,
Why?
'cause when you talked about the fire, you sounded like... She sounded just like you.
Well, she is my muse, so maybe it's the other way around. Give us some time. Aton, if she'd brought an army, they wouldn't be waiting politely at the doorstep.
You trust her?
Always have. And so do you.
I don't even know her.
You brought her here.
By accident?
The source of some of our best work.
Prometheus!
You trust me.
More than anyone?
So when I say I've got this,
You've got this.
so get going. There's work to do.
Don't do anything stupid without me.
Without you, I wouldn't know where to start.
Prometheus pulls Aton into a hug. He slips the folded piece of paper into her pocket. They separate.
Where'd you find her?
She found me. So, you needed to see me.
For centuries.
What took you so long?
I was plotting your downfall. You left me behind.
You weren't there. That night, I would have waited, but Epimetheus... I'm sorry.
Don't be. You saw your opportunity and you took it.
Would you have come with me if I'd waited?
It's like your friend said, that was a long time ago. I really do like her. When I followed that fire, that strange corner of the world, I hoped that I'd find somebody, anybody, who could lead me to you. Never thought I'd meet your, what would you call her?
Aton? I don't know. She sort of defies categorization. But she's part of me. My good heart.
It's good, you have somebody. You artist types always think the loner thing adds to your mystique, but it doesn't really suit you. Any of you. I mean, look at your catalog of proteges. Look at Epimetheus, even.
Epimetheus?
He's an artist too, in case you've forgotten.
But he's not alone. He's you.
He likes to think so. He's practically leading the hunt for you, and that offends me.
Oh, come on. Epimetheus is maybe the most loyal being on Olympus.
And
And I'm his brother.
you take him for granted. I suppose we both do. You think he lacks vision, but heartbreak is a remarkably inspirational thing.
What are you talking about?
The night that you left,
We fought. I won.
he let you go.
Why would he do that?
Because he's a fool who believes loyalty goes both ways. He waited, God, I can't even remember how long. He was so sure that you'd come back, fix everything. He would have torn down mountains for you, dyed the oceans purple, anything for you. Just not this one thing that meant everything to him. To both of you. He said no. And you threw him away. He did not take that well. Knocked the wind right out of him. You see, a simple creature that he is, he thought you loved him.
I did. I do.
But you chose them.
It's not as simple as that.
It is to Epimetheus. You turned your back on your home, your life, your purpose, all for the sake of...
My purpose! This! They are my purpose! I had to do this, Eliora. I had to choose. It's not fair, it's not right, but I couldn't have it all. Couldn't do this great thing, this thing I was born to do, fated to accomplish, without giving up everything, everything that ever mattered to me. I love you. And Epimetheus. It's like I'm missing half of myself all the time because I can't see him or create with him or joke around with him because I've done this thing that he can't understand or won't understand. And he's my brother. And I've needed him plenty of times, and he's not there. I know he's needed me, and I can't be there for him because this is ridiculous. This whole thing, this conflict. I can't undo what I've done, and I wouldn't. I wouldn't trade it for any riverbed I sculpted or constellation I designed. They're not perfect. Man, they didn't work out quite the way I intended, but they're good. This thing I've done is really good. And certainly it doesn't hurt anyone, especially a bunch of immortals who spend most of their time bickering and watching the eons go by. That's not what I am. I haven't been that for a long time, or maybe ever. And I don't think it's what Epimetheus is or what you are really. And I honestly don't know what's here, Eliora.
What?
You're here to join me?
I think you'll agree my resume is impeccable.
Why now?
What do you mean?
Where were you that night? I never wanted to do this alone.
You're not.
At the beginning, I was alone for... That was a new experience for me. Intense loneliness? My whole life, for all time, there's always been Epimetheus and you. And you're right, I took that for granted, that you'd always be there. Eternal, good company. But when the time came,
You left.
and you stayed. We talked about it, Eliora. We had just
I
talked.
wasn't ready.
You could have told me.
Prometheus, you knocked down your own brother and set the hall of the gods ablaze. That is how badly you needed to do this. Don't pretend you would have waited for me. But I'm here now.
Eliora holds out her hand to him. Prometheus hesitates, then steps towards her, but his injured leg buckles and he drops to his knees. She rushes to him, sitting on the floor beside him. She examines the wound.
Oh, darling, you really are a mess.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
That was...
A close call.
and not your first.
Still want to join up.
That's so hard to believe. You'd let yourself be torn apart for them. I am as old as the stars, and I've never felt anything the way that you feel for them. I am, and always have been, untouchable. And then you set the world on fire, and I felt that. For a while, I thought I'd want to go back to how things were, cold. But that's not how things go. Your brother might not be able to see that, but I can. He's hunting for you so that he can put things right. I found you so that I could move forward with you. Can't undo what's done. And I know that there might not be much time left, but Prometheus, darling, I am ready. I am ready now. I have been waiting for this. I can send shockwaves through the whole project if you want me to. If you let me, I could make something beautiful.
He pulls a paper flower out of midair and hands it to Prometheus.
You don't have to decide now. I'll come back when you've had a chance to talk it over with
Aton?
Aton, or whoever else you need to talk to. I'll come back, and if you've abandoned this spot and left no forwarding address, I'll take that as my answer. No hard feelings. Till then.
Prometheus looks at the flower for a moment, then out at the world. He feels a slight pang in his chest. Scene 7. Empty stage. Still the workshop in the in-between. Weeks later. Enter Epimetheus with a satchel filled to the point of bursting with books, newspapers, rolls of parchment, sheet music. He takes a look around and realizes this is the place. He catches sight of Ginsberg's Howl, still scrawled on the wall. He dumps the contents of his satchel onto the floor, searching for the right book, finds it, and is about to underline a passage with a fat highlighter when Aton, riding her bicycle, coasts by and grabs the book. Aton halts, dismounts, and leans the bicycle against the wall.
I have to hold on to this, give it some time to recuperate from what appears to have been a lengthy period of abuse.
Look, sweetheart, why don't you take that ridiculous machine and pedal your way back to where you belong?
Hey, say what you want about me, but tread carefully when you talk about the bike. This is the original, the prototype, the platonic ideal of a bicycle. Show some respect.
I'm about 2 seconds away from bending that platonic ideal around a very real tree.
Touchy.
Tired. Where's Prometheus?
No. I'm confiscating this. Call it a fine for trespassing.
I'm not the one who's trespassing.
No.
I was here when this place was made.
Right, because obviously you're
Epimetheus.
Prometheus.
Yeah.
Ah,
Hi.
that's kind of the thing you lead with usually.
There didn't seem to be much of a chance for good form since...
What are you doing here?
Good form. You have me at a disadvantage. You know who I am. Well, I don't have a clue who you are.
Oh, you know exactly who I am.
I promise you, I don't. But let me see if I can put it together. Pro and I are the only ones who know about these spots, our places in the in-between, so unless I let the location slip during a particularly engrossing bacchanal, you got here through Pro. You're one of his little sidekicks. Am I right? So that's what you do? I hope knowing that little detail isn't the same as knowing exactly who you are. Is it? How sad for you.
Aton, assistant firebringer, first class.
You've heard about me? I'm not quite what you expected.
I never pegged you for a particularly voracious reader at any rate. I figured you...
Pro's supposed to be the poet, right? And I'm the oaf. If you need something to creep and crawl on the earth, I'm your guy. But for the really beautiful stuff, well, that's what my brother's for.
That's not what I...
Is he all right?
What?
Please, just... I heard about his latest... Is he hurt?
He's fine. That was weeks ago.
He's getting sloppy, reckless. You're his assistant, his friend, maybe?
Yes?
Could you stop him if you needed to?
Why would I do that?
Because he needs somebody to stop him when he goes too far, to pull him back from the edge.
That's not my job.
Then what are you good for? I know he's here. He has to be. You have to let me.
What?
Help him.
He doesn't need help. Not from you anyway.
This is his, right? You'll have to tell me. I used to know from one line or a turn of phrase I could. We haven't talked some time. I may have lost the... I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical.
It's his.
You don't think he needs help?
I don't.
He left Olympus to create something beautiful, perfect. I should have stopped him. I knew it was too much. That he'd wind up in pain and danger. Broken.
That's not all he is.
I know. I'm as bad as the worst, but thank God I'm as good as the best.
Whitman!
Epimetheus pulls a much-loved copy of Whitman out of his inner pocket, tosses it to Aton, who catches it.
He's one of Pro's, right?
What gave him away?
Other than everything?
Prometheus enters from the back of the workshop, seemingly unnoticed by the other immortals.
I sound my barbaric yawp across the rooftops of the world. Yup. It's unmistakably pro. It's bright and strong and ridiculous. You don't know where he is. Let me guess. He's been disappearing for long stretches to a back room with a locked door or somewhere out there he doesn't bother to tell you about. And you see him in passing, but it's like you're not there. Or he's not. I'm sorry. I know the feeling.
What are you talking about?
Being left behind.
That's
And if
not
you think
what.
that hurts, wait until he knocks you down, sets the world on fire, and leaves you for real. That one stings.
Prometheus.
Aton.
Prometheus isn't here. Hasn't been for months.
That's adorable. Oh, yeah. Lying. Minutes, maybe, but not months. He leaves traces, you know? No, not that. Nowadays, that's everywhere. There's an energy, a charge in the air. You can almost taste it. When Pro's been at work, you know what I'm talking about.
Look,
Never thought I'd miss it. But even on Olympus, where everything is perfumed and sizzling with power, I'm irritatingly aware of it. The absence. It's, well, frankly, it's distracting. And I can't... Neither of us ever did well as a solo act, did we? Pro?
Aton, you should go.
I don't think so.
Please.
No, he's right. You're a terrible solo act.
What are you doing here, Epimetheus?
I came here to... God's Pro. It's good to see you again.
Prometheus extends his hand. Epimetheus shakes it. Prometheus pulls him into a hug.
You should go.
I'm not going anywhere.
Epimetheus! You should go.
Pro, I came here to warn you.
They're coming.
You should run.
You brought them here.
I didn't. Prometheus, you can't possibly...
You know I defended you? Eliora told me what you were doing, and I refused to believe her.
Eliora?
Yeah, I said you were a lot of things, but above all, you were loyal. You were my brother. I hurt you, but you would never. You might not understand what I'm trying to do. You might disagree, but you wouldn't.
What?
Lead the hunt. The thugs, the furies, the wrathful, petty gods who seek to tear me down.
Okay.
It must be quite a feeling having that kind of power in your wake.
That's enough. How long's it been since Eliora found you?
Leave her alone.
What could I possibly do to her? She's got an army.
What are you talking about?
I've been searching the workshops for weeks. Should have thought of them sooner. Just never thought you... This morning I went home. I needed a break. And I got there and Olympus was empty. Not just quiet, like everyone had partied too hard the night before and needed to sleep it off. No, empty. And Eliora wasn't by the fire. And I made excuses for her in my head because, well, you know why? But I knew they were coming for you. And I only had a few dozen workshops to go, and you had to be in one of them, and I found you. But it's too late because she's been here for...
3 weeks.
What's she been waiting for?
Boss, I think we should go.
Wait, this is all... Eliora came to help, to join with...
To join you? She wants to devastate you, and I...
Ridiculous.
You don't know! You don't know her anymore, Pro. She's changed.
And you haven't.
Of course I have! I'm sure you have too. But I need the core, the unchanged heart of you to believe that the essential, immutable part of me just wants to keep you safe.
Immutable?
I've been doing some reading.
But Eliora's...
You stole from her, Pro. She's humiliated and furious.
This sounds familiar.
Aton!
I've been waiting. I trusted you because, you're the one I trust. And you said it was okay for me to leave you with her. So I did. I went back to work, came back here, and she was gone. And I waited for you to say something. And I'm not particularly patient, so I asked, what's the plan? And you said, wait and hope. And then you hid away in the back. And when you weren't back there, you were out in the world with her. And you said it was okay. She was your friend. She was your home. And I didn't think that was really true. But I waited. Because you asked me to.
You could have said...
What? What could I have done? You were so happy. And now here's this guy. And well, he's vaguely scary, like dapper but threatening. But I don't know. I think he's one of us.
You don't know that.
You do? The way you hugged him just now? The way you talk about him? The way he talks about Whitman?
That really doesn't.
He's one of us, Prometheus. I look at him and I see pain, some anger, yeah. But I also see hope and a decent amount of love.
And Eliora. You got a good look at her. What did you see?
Fire.
Well, that's...
Cold fire, boss.
Prometheus crosses to the exit, opens the door.
Wait!
There's no one there. No army, no Eliora.
And so you think.
So... The thing is, I'm not supposed to be here.
What do you mean?
I told Eliora I'd be out in the world today. She asked me to meet her here at... She's due in a few minutes.
We'll be gone before then. You still don't believe me?
No, I do. I'm through with running.
Good. Then I can carry you.
Epimetheus moves towards Prometheus. Prometheus pulls a paper rose out of his pocket. Epimetheus stops at the sight of it.
When she first showed up, there was this moment. I thought if she's here, you can't be far behind. I thought it was the three of us again. She knew.
What?
You asked what she's been waiting for. She knew what I wanted. She gave me... I was so happy. She gave me that so that she could take it away.
Prometheus hands Aton the flower. She unfolds it and discovers a message inside.
If an injury has to be done to a man, it should be so severe that his vengeance need not be feared.
I guess I'm not the only one who's been reading Machiavelli.
Tell me you had nothing to do with this.
I had nothing to do with this. That's not why I'm here.
And I should believe you.
Yes.
Why should I?
Because I'm your brother.
Immutable.
The unchanged heart of me.
Aton heads for the door.
What are you doing?
He's going to change your mind about running. I'm going to make sure we still have a way out of here when he does.
That's incredibly stupid.
And
it's exactly what I was about to do.
Next one's on you.
We've done this before.
Doesn't have to go the same way. You always knew how this would play out since the moment you left.
Well, roughly, yeah.
I can't see things that way.
I know.
You have to let me save you.
So, Aton thinks you're one of us.
Crow.
What do you think?
I don't know. I thought, like I said, I've been doing a lot of reading and watching, and at first I thought if I could help you see the damage genius can do...
I'd come back from the dark side.
Something like that. I wanted to chuck these back into the fire they came from, along with all the rest. Anyway, I had a whole speech planned. Several speeches, actually, for a while. I thought you could turn yourself in and everything would be all right. And then I watched some more, and I read some more, and I knew you wouldn't stop. And for a while, I thought about tearing it all down. Man, mountains, everything, starting from scratch.
What stopped you?
Like them so much. things don't come back from burning. So I came here. But I need... Make me understand, Pro.
I don't think I know what you're asking.
I've seen the fires spreading, mankind progressing, and at the same time, some of the things they do, the paths they choose, you must be tearing out your heart every day.
Your question.
Why didn't you come back home? Why didn't you stop when you had the chance?
I wasn't.
Gods, bro, I'm
Finished!
serious here. This fire spreads on its own. I mean, it does better with some tending, but it's out there, always and forever. There's no finish for a job like that.
See, not so hard to understand at all.
You're infuriating. And you just admitted you still have work to do.
Brother.
You're not through with running.
There's a huge crash of thunder.
Would one of you boys mind unmaking that door? Leaving to the front is no longer an option.
I've got it.
He blew it, didn't he?
You made some good points.
Amateur. He had 2 minutes with you. Couldn't turn you around? Pathetic.
Hey, that's my brother you're talking about.
Your brother is a lightweight.
Hey, Tonna.
You took a hit. You're hurt. You're tired. Nothing we haven't seen before. It's the cost of doing business.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean you close up shop.
I'm not.
So I seem to recall a back door out of here.
Yeah, and you two should use it.
Crow.
I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
What did you say to him?
Me? Everything was fine until you came back. You must have freaked him out.
How?
I don't know. Your face?
Aton, it's done. There's nothing either of you could have.
You grab the fire, I'll drag him out of here.
Right.
Stop!
You're just giving up? You gave everything to this crazy crusade, and now you're just gonna let it die?
This is how I keep it alive. I just need a few minutes to give you everything you need, and then.
We're not finished.
I'm well aware. Check your pockets.
You need a stick of gum or something? Harmonica?
Yeah. I'll know it when I see it.
Aton pulls various oddities out of pockets large and small. She holds out each offering to Prometheus to inspect, but he shakes his head at every one until she pulls out a folded piece of paper she doesn't quite recognize.
What's this?
Open it.
Is this? You said this was what's missing. Missing from what?
Open it!
Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. It's nice.
It's everything.
What?
The means to mighty ends.
A poem.
Hope.
You slipped this in my pocket the day Eliora came through?
Wanted to make sure it was in safe hands. Just in case.
And now?
And now it is. Hope. It's what I've been working on in the back room. It's the engine that makes inspiration run, but you knew that. You are that. The thing with feathers. They're capable of terrible and wonderful things, and every day it hurts. Watching them bend or break under the pressure of this gift I gave them. Inspiration means disappointment and failure and dead ends, and the only way through that is hope. The fire's spreading on its own, but it does need tending, and hope. That needs cultivation, protection, and a gentle heart.
Sounds like your kind of a job.
Good thing we have so much in common.
Prometheus.
It was never about me. It was about inspiration. It's about hope. But to them, the powers that be, it's me. I'm what needs correction. The thing that's wrong that they can't abide. Take me out of the picture and you'll all be free. They'll have their prize. They'll leave you alone. And the fire
He snaps his fingers, and fire appears at his fingertips.
can do exactly what it was meant.
He blows on the fire at his fingertips, and a little burst of firelight springs up all around.
Without me. I'll see you guys around.
Prometheus heads for the exit, Aton and Epimetheus between Prometheus at the door.
If this thing is gonna happen, it might as well happen now!
I'm not going to let you walk out there alone, not again.
I'll be fine.
No, you won't.
Aton, I've thought this through.
Since when? Because it seems to me like an incredibly noble gut reaction inspired by the sudden influx of your brother, Scary Muse Lady, your sore leg, and a couple of well-timed lines of poetry.
It's not.
Sure.
Pal, I've been thinking about this since before I met you. Since the day I stepped off Olympus, I was always gonna get caught. It was never gonna be pretty. I was never gonna be ready. But thanks to you, I cracked it. A way to be okay.
I'm coming with you,
No!
and you're turning us in.
What?
If you want to be in the clear to do the work that needs to be done, you can't start off running away. Turn us in and you're one of them, which keeps you free to be one of us.
Gods, that almost made sense.
Yeah, I get in your head pretty quick.
But you don't have to come with me.
Right. I never did. Never had to come. Very stupid. Very risky. And at the end of the day, so totally, obviously, the right thing to do. Can't really kick the habit now. Besides, somebody needs to look after you.
Holds out her hand to Epimetheus.
And the usual guy
Epimetheus takes her hand.
has another job to do.
Epimetheus pulls his hand away, revealing the folded up message of hope.
I can't do this. This isn't what I do.
Gentlemen, shall we?
Scene 8. Aton perches on the promontory, built through the ages, made of piles and piles of novels, inventions, bicycles, paintings, sonatas, phonographs, records, picture books, computers, pogo sticks. The stage is clean, empty. No sign of the bowl of eternal flame. Prometheus stumbles out onto the promontory. Aton catches him.
So are we getting the band back together, or
What?
come here often? Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
Hey, I was here first. You're the one who walked, or rather, stumbled in.
I don't suppose you got any gin in this joint.
Seems like we're fresh out. Since when are you a gin drinker?
It's either my F. Scott Fitzgerald phase or your Charlie Chaplin phase. For obvious reasons, it's a little difficult to remember. Old friend. I wish I could say I was happy to see you.
Yeah?
They told me, you'll like this, they didn't just tell me what my punishment would be. They recited it for me.
What? Like in unison?
No. They had one of those minor gods I could never keep straight. Hebe or Nyx or, nice face, no personality. It doesn't matter. She quoted Byron. Can you believe that? Obviously it was something he wrote without,
He feels a sudden pain in his heart, like pins.
without my help. Since it was about, this, I guess.
Was it any good?
Yes, of course.
Slightly deeper pain in his heart, like knives.
It was very good. I mean, it was Byron, after all. I can't remember it now, but it was bleak. Beautiful stuff.
And somewhere in there was a glimmer of an idea of what's going to happen to you.
Something about taking advantage of the whole immortality thing, drawing things out, eternal torment, etc. But enough about me.
And your eternal torment.
Yes. Enough about that. I gotta tell you, a friendly face was the last thing I expected to see after all that. What are you doing here, Aton? Looking after me?
I'm here because you're here. I go where I'm told.
Well, that's a change. Isn't it strange? I've got the one person I can always talk to sitting right next to me, and it seems that we don't have anything to say.
I wish I didn't have anything to say.
I don't understand.
I've got something for you.
Reaches into one of her deep
I
pockets
thought
and
you
pulls out a thick pile of music composition paper.
thought you might want to see this.
Hands the pile to Prometheus.
It's the
Requiem! Mozart! He didn't finish it.
humans.
Pain in his heart like fire.
Gods, Aton. You're killing me with this stuff.
Sorry, I do try to entertain. One morning I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas, I don't know. Time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana. Come on, these are classics.
Yeah.
His stuff. I mean, considering your terrible sense of humor, it really...
No, it's you. He was your guy. So it's to be eons of painful reminiscing for the two of us, huh?
You gotta give him credit. It's a pretty slick setup they've come up with.
Tearing my heart out with news of my failings.
And forcing me to do the tearing.
Pretty slick, I guess. Not as nasty as they'd like to think, though.
Oh no?
They think that I've never felt this kind of pain before. That I wouldn't know how to bear it. They underestimated you, old friend.
Me.
Typical of them, really.
I don't...
Mozart didn't finish the Requiem. Schubert didn't bother to write the rest of that scherzo. Dozens of Leonardo's molder away in those backwards notebooks of his silly mortals. Too busy living and dying and doing those stupid little things that are the substance of their lives. And you love them for it. Always have. For jumping out of airplanes and doodling in class and falling on their faces all over the place. I'd forget sometimes why I did it, what made them worth it. But you could always see them for exactly what they were. So thanks
For
helping me to find the cure in the same place as the sickness.
Holds his heart.
So it hurts. It gets torn apart. It doesn't stop it from growing back. Gotta admit, stuck up here, it does sting a bit more.
away from it all. I almost forgot. I did pick up one other thing on my last trip down.
Really, Aton, I'm kind of tired. Could it wait till tomorrow?
Gotta finish my report, boss.
Aton checks to make sure they're not being watched, and then pulls an enormous sunflower out of her pocket.
You remember Vincent?
Of course.
You know that vivid, shockingly beautiful way he paints with yellow? How it glows?
Yeah, just like... What is that?
Seems like somebody saw those yellows and what Vincent could do with them, and they went ahead and created these sunflowers. Inspired by Van Gogh, of course. Now Vincent can't stop painting them, and he gets the yellows just right, or vice versa. Hard to say. The timeline's tricky. Anyway, the artist sends his regards.
Prometheus takes the flower.
He says it's no little Prometheus, but he hopes you like it. Still hurts?
But this is different. More like growing pains.
Every act of creation is, first of all, an act of destruction.
I like that. Yours.
Picasso's. all on his own. Of course, he said it in Spanish.
Of course. So what are we creating now, Aton?
Hard to say, boss. I hope it's something good.
Lights down, revealing glimmers of tiny flames everywhere and anywhere, as the fires of the gods burn on. End of play. Woohoo! Hi, folks. Let's give a big round of applause to our performers this evening. Everyone, if you want to turn on your screen, give a wave. Thank you so much. And a big thank you to you, all audience, for tuning in for Laura Hirschberg's Fire Thief. In order to keep up with us, please check in on our website at www.skeletonrep.org. We appreciate you spending your Saturday evening supporting new work and exploration of modern myth. Good evening, folks. We look forward to sharing with you again soon. Have a good night.